Hello, wonderful viewers. It is a rare privilege and an honor interviewing this man. He was born in 1937 in Bolgatanga and later ordained as a deacon in December of 1964. Ladies and gentlemen, without much ado, I have with me Monsignor Roger Aboteyuure. Monsignor, am I getting the pronunciation right?
You're all right.
Yes.
The pronunciation is correct.
Okay, yeah. It is an honor talking to you. Well, I have with me your autobiography. It was amazing. I read it yesterday, and I thought it wise coming to talk to you and to just hear the words from you. Let's start. How did it all start? Where were you born, and how did it all start, if you don't mind?
I was born 14th November in 1937 on the actual spot where the Jubilee hall is situated. That is where my parents lived, and that was the year that I was born. Now, the history is that my uncle was the only educated person in Atulobisi, our clan, and so he made sure that I will have the opportunity and the chance to be educated as he was educated. And that is where it all started.
Well, and I read in your autobiography, you said when you were born, your grandfather, Agayoro Ghana, was a wealthy man in those days and had a lot of wives. So with that reason, the name Aboteyuure was given to you by a lady who came in the health assistant your delivery, because she figured the only thing your father needed at that moment was a name, a good name.
Yeah, the history is that the people of Bolga, Atulobisi, we migrated from Tanzui to the actual spot that we are. And the history, we learn that our ancestor had a lot of children, and when the children started to grow and to marry, they lacked space, a place where they could farm. And so they decided to move down to Bolga side. And then they settled. They were supposed to go to Tongo because there was space there. But I'm told that there was the sister of our grandfather who was married to the landlord at Tindana's house. And so she intervened that they should give us land to build not far from them. And that is how we got the Atulwadabo. You know, in those days, a rich man was somebody who had a lot of children, who had a lot of wives, who had a lot of cows, who had a lot of sheep, etc., etc. And in the case of my grandfather, he had all this. And so, when I was born, there is a woman from Adenda's house, a house that was very close to our house. Then the woman came to help my mother to deliver me. And in the tradition, it is the one who helps you to deliver who gives the name in some cases. And so at that particular case, the woman said, there is everything in the house. Agayoro Ghana has everything. All that he now needs is a name to be famous and to be known. And so they gave me the name Aboteyuure, which means I want a name. I'm not the one who is after the name, but it was my grandfather who wanted to get fame through me. And that is the meaning of my name. You know, in the Bible or in many parts of tradition, the name has a meaning. Even Emmanuel in the Bible means God with us, Jesus, Savior. Every place has every name in our own tradition has a meaning. And so there are some other names that depict the position of our father. One time, there are people from our family who are called, we have no more names to give. That means the children are so many that we can't get names. You know, it is no longer like today where family planning is considered. In the olden days, the more children you have, the better you are, the richer you are.
Wow, that's so awesome. And you've lived after the name. You are a clear example of the name Aboteyuure.
Well, I wouldn't say that. You know, a priest has no ambition to be famous. You are only famous with God.
Father, I understand the humility, but I am saying this: you've gained global recognition. Let's let's admit it. But I appreciate the humility, Reverend Father. Okay. So how did you go to school?
So then, you know, our house is very close to the mission, and so when the missionaries came in 1925, I'm told that they settled at the actual meat marketing town, the old market, that we call it. That was the chief's house, and so they accommodated them there. Then the fathers negotiated, and they got the actual land that the mission is built today. And I'm told that since we had cows in the house, the fathers needed milk for their coffee, for their drinks, and so on. And so my grandfather was the one supplying them with milk. And I'm even told that sometimes they would send us to take the bottles of milk to the missionaries. And it happened that in that particular year, there was an outbreak of meningitis. And so I was attacked by the meningitis. And so they tried to treat me in the local way. There was no success. Finally, they went to the mission, and there was an American missionaries of Africa, who was working in Bolga, and so they asked him for help. And he then came to our house, and when he saw that I was really seriously sick, he decided that he would baptize me. In case I die, if I die, I'll go to heaven. If I live, so much the better. And you know, the American name Roger means okay. And so he gave me the name, he baptized me and gave me the name Roger. So then I got well, and a few months later, our grandfather died. And it was interpreted that he loved me so much that he took my place to die for me and let me live. So then after the baptism, the fathers felt that to be able to practice my faith, to live as a good Christian, I needed to go to school. If I'm at school, they will catechize me, they will see to it that I live my Christian faith. Since my parents were not Christians, they would try perhaps to bring me back to the traditional worship. And so they made sure that I would be close to the mission. And the only way that I could be very close was to be educated. And that is how my uncle then decided that he would send me to school. And that's how I started my P1 in St. Charles Primary School in Bolga, and so on and so on.
So yeah, so from St. Charles Primary School, you proceeded to a middle school in Navrongo.
Yes, in those days, you know, after the primary school, 6 years, then you are now going to middle school. And the middle school was to take you another 4 years, and then you will qualify to be a professional, whether you want to be a teacher or a nurse, and so on. So then I went to Navrongo after to start my middle school. And after Form 1 and Form 2, the Diocese of Navrongo in those days decided to open a secondary school. And so they got a place in Wiaga, and they started St. Charles Secondary School in Wiaga. After 3 years in Wiaga, then they decided to have the school in Tamale. And so we moved from Wiaga to Tamale. Now, when they started the secondary school, they were choosing boys from Nandom, from Jirapa, from Kalio, from Navrongo, from Barga, from Boku, all those was that they thought that they could do well in the secondary education. And so we started in that way, and we went to St. Charles. After 5 years in St. Charles, then we took the West African examination test to be qualified as secondarians. In those days, we had no sixth form. And so when we finished our Form 5, then we were to go to the profession that we wanted to. And we were 3 who wanted to be priests. You know, during the holidays, anytime I came home, since my house was very close to the mission, then the fathers would take me out on outstations, coming to Nangodi, to Bongo, to Zoko, and all these places. They were trying to expose me to the priestly life, priestly style. And so I saw the way the fathers were living. You know, in those days, I saw the fathers eating bread. I saw the fathers eating sardine. So it was a life that was appealing to me. I felt that maybe if I can join them, and I will have a motorcycle, and then I will be eating bread and sardines and so on. I didn't go into the seminary as a small boy with the intention that I want to convert people to become Christians. No, I had a humanitarian aspect. And that is how life is. You know, in the tradition, if you want to marry, you don't tell your wife that you are suffering, your what. You have to entice her. And so the fathers were using the natural means to entice me to follow them as assistants. So then we went to the seminary. We were 3. One from Muera and the other from Pomorgo. And so we were the good ones in the secondary school. So then we started our seminary training in Tamale. The Malchero, as the village is called. And so we started our seminary training there. Then, after 1-2 years, the one from Sergo opted for another life. So he went then to sixth form in Damascus. And after 1 year, he gained a scholarship to go to the United States to study. And so he went to the States. And then we were now left with 2. And so the other boy, too, after another year, he too decided to leave. He felt that the priesthood was not his place. So he too left. And he too got a scholarship to go to the States. And so I was the only one then in my class. And it was almost impossible to have one teacher for one student. So after 2 years, with having a professor alone, they came to a conclusion that the best thing was to send me to another seminary where I can continue my studies. I'm told that they proposed a Pedu in Cape Coast area. I could go there, or some said I already knew a bit of French. Maybe I could go to Kumi and Bobo Dilasso, where the seminary was. But finally, they decided that I could go to Montreal. I could get a scholarship there. One evening, I was at in the Tongo primary school, teaching children songs. I was very active with the youth and the mass service. So one of the priests arrived, and he said that I was going to Canada. I must leave now. So I went. He took me back to Tongo Mission, and I hadn't a lot of things on my books. So I used a bed sheet to put in all my belongings. Then I went back to Bolga Mission, and Father John Asodina had returned from England, and so he gave me an overcoat for the cold. Then one Canadian father who played an active role in my priestly training, he too had just returned from Canada. So he gave me his suitcase.
Okay.
And so I gathered all that, and then I was now going to Accra. Now, in Accra, it just happened that Bishop Gregory the one who died a few weeks ago, was also going to study in Belgium. And so he, in the morning, as a seminarian, I was helping him to celebrate the Mass, and then we were praying to get visas to go to Canada, and so on. Then we all got our visas, and of course it was all a problem for me how to put on a tie. I never put on a tie. They bought me all that I needed to take the plane, and so I was then on my way to Canada. We got to the airport in London, and the connections were not in order, and so they kept me in a hotel. I never knew what it meant. A menu, they brought me a thing. I said, bring me plenty meat and potatoes. So they gave me that. Then in any case, they said, when you are ready, you can phone now. I said, I don't know how to phone. So then they told me, I told them the best thing is that give me half an hour, come back and knock at my door, and then take me down. So he did all that. Then the following day, I took the plane, now from London going to Montreal. And then the change of time, I got to Montreal early in the morning, and I passed through the customs, and then they told me that I could telephone to the fathers when I'm at the airport, and they'll come and get me. So then I told them the same problem. I said, I don't know how to phone. So then the custom officer phoned to the missionaries in Montreal, and they said, look, it is only 7 o'clock in the morning. No one is up at 7. I should just wait, and they will come maybe 8:30, 9 o'clock to take me. So then I waited, and the father then came. That father had worked in Bulgaria for several years, and so he then took me to the missionaries of Africa, their house. And then the following day, it was now to buy all the clothing that I needed to live in Canada. So you know, I never had so many shares. We are not buying 2 shirts, we are buying a dozen underwears, a dozen shirts, shoes, 2 pairs, anything that was double. And then when I had all that I needed, then he took me to the seminary, which was about half an hour's drive from the missionaries. The seminary is right in the city of Montreal. And so then I got to the seminary, and they had the experience. The seminary was composed of various nationalities, and so they would appoint the dean of the seminarians to take care of the new ones. So they confided me to this seminarian I was sitting, looking after me, any problem, and so on and so on. We were over 500 seminarians, and each one of us had a room. And then I didn't know what's north and south. Everything was all upside down. Anyway, that's how I then started my seminary education.
Wow. So, those days, we're talking about 1960s.
Yeah, that's
racism was quite a challenge. Even it is as of now.
Yeah.
Did you experience any form of racism?
No.
No discrimination at all?
You know, the Canadian people or the French, they like you or they don't like you.
Exactly.
The French don't play in between. When they like you, they'll make you know that they like you. When they don't love you, they will say, we'll make sure that they don't love you. But then in the seminary, they are closed. The seminarians are closed in. So you have to break in to go inside. The Canadians will never say, how do you do? No, you are the one to say, how do you do? Go out and knock, say, how are you? I want to see you, I want to talk to you. Then he will open up. So I had that in mind, being an African, where we are greeting everybody, we are smiling, we are kind. I had a breakthrough everywhere. Wow. And the seminarians made sure that during we used to have 1 weekend free. One would take me to the family, and so on, and so on, and so on. And then during the holidays, they are inviting me to the different dioceses where they were coming from. I would go with them, spend time. So I was just well accepted.
Wow.
Well accepted.
Wow.
I never experienced any problem.
So take me through your educational journey in Canada. So you went to the missionary, like you said. So,
So during the holidays, then during the holidays, as I said, many of the seminarians were inviting me to their homes.
Yes.
So I'll go there, and then during the holidays, I can move out, go to wherever I like. Then the fathers were giving the money that I needed to travel and to buy anything. Then many of the friends, the seminarians, the parents were buying things for me. Anything that they felt that their son had, they were looking after me. So then the seminary is a big university seminary. And so the cardinal was a great friend to the Jewish community. And so we had all, you know, the Jews are very strong with food, food trading in various items on feeding. And so we were eating the best steaks in the world. Where anything that was the best, they were giving that to the seminary. So that gave me an opportunity to be able to go around. I mean, to visit Canada.
Canada.
Yes.
I see. So you trained as a missionary. Then afterwards, did you went to school for?
So then when I was there, you know, I wanted to get a degree in theology.
Exactly.
And so I had to take in courses that I didn't take since I was not with them at the beginning. So I did that. Then I was then ordained and with a licentiate in theology. Then the cardinal who ordained me, he was a great missionary. He loved the world, the missions. And so that was during the Vatican Council. And so he was in Rome. So I was then coming back to Ghana, coming home after my ordination with my preparation, whatever. So I went to Rome, and then he took me for about a month. I was staying with them in a Canadian college. And in the morning, when the cardinal is going for the Vatican Council meeting, you know, his brother was the ambassador in France, in Paris. So he would send me a limousine, and then the car will then take us. He's dressed like a cardinal, and I'm dressed like a secretary. Then he's taking me to the council. So I did that for 1 month. Then at the end of my term, then I came home, and I was sent to Garou to start with a Canadian father, the nephew of Bishop Morin, the one who started the church in the north. He was a Canadian, and his sister's son became a priest, and he was stationed in Garou, and he made sure that I would be sent to Garou because they knew that I had a lot of connections and I had a lot of resources that I could help him to build up Garou. So I went to Garou I was supposed to stay there to learn Moba and the other languages, but things changed. There was one Canadian priest who was in charge of the Catholic education, those days, Catholic manager of Catholic schools. He became sick, and they felt that the only one who could do that job was me. So they took me out from Garou, and then I went to Navrongo, and I was looking after the Catholic education for about 3 years. After the 3 years, I still felt that I didn't like to go into this educational history. I wanted to go back to the missions. Bishop had asked that if he wanted one father to go and do anthropology. So I volunteered. I said, I would like to go and do anthropology. I like costumes, I like culture. So then I was preparing, I only proposed. But then the Father Apuri, who was headmaster of Notre Dame, told the bishop that he needed an African priest to be with him in Notre Dame. And so they decided that Father Kazarsam, who died a year ago, was so he and myself, one would go and do catechesis in Belgium, and one would go and do French somewhere. And so I asked the Father Kazarsam what he wanted, and he opted that he will do the catechesis. And so he was sent to Belgium. Then they said, since I was already in Canada, I had been there, then it would be easier for them to send me to another university in Canada. So then I went to University of Laval to make my BA honors. And after my BA honors, the French lady who was in charge of the department advised me that I should make my MA in French literature. So I did that. Then while I was doing that, he told me that wanted to know what I was going to do in Ghana. So I said, I'm going to teach in the seminary, minor seminary. He said, you know, if you're going to teach below university level, you need a degree, teaching degree. So he advised me to go to Msgr to do my Master of Education in Msgr. So that is Montreal City, the Jewish University. So then I went to the Msgr and I spent 2 years, and I also got my Master of Education. And then I was ready, and then that course, second going to Canada, lasted 7 years.
Wow.
So I was then came back, and then I started to go to Notre Dame to teach in Notre Dame French.
Wow, 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 wow.
In fact, all those years, you know, as a priest, I've never dreamt that certificates mean something. They mean nothing. They only give you aptitude, means to serve the people. And so while I was studying in Canada, I was trying to build up contacts. When I go back to Ghana, who can help me to drill a borehole for the people? Who can help me to build a school for the people? Who can pay the fees of a poor child? So that is what I had in mind. And I only needed degrees to go and fight with the government. If I go to the government will not say I'm not educated. They'll say the man is educated, only that he has a vocation. And that is how the priesthood is. Wow. We are not there to make you first of all, you have no wife, you have no children, everybody is your child, everybody is your wife, everybody is yours. But our aim, primarily and seriously, is to help the people.
And you've been doing that, you've been doing it quite well, yeah. Very, very well.
Well, the people have been supporting me and adhering to what I'm trying to do.
Okay, okay. Yeah, we'll get to that. Now, let's go to, so you came home from Canada after your second scholarship.
Yes.
And now you are posted to Notre Dame.
Yes.
So you, yes.
So I came back, and then I was teaching French, and then geography and religion. These were my three main subjects that I was teaching. And I must say I was very, very happy with the technique that I learned from Msgr and the French training and then English training. You merge the two, you are bound to be good, because the French have their way of writing or educating, and the English have their way. So I was experienced with the two, so I was merging the two. And the boys, those who took French, they all at the examination, they always got 1-1 or 2-2, without a sort of sophisticated teaching. It was just simple teaching. And French or any language is by heart. You have to learn the words by heart. You have to learn the verbs by heart. There's no more technique more than that. To chew the word, the language, you learn the language. And our people, the local people, when they go to Kumasi, they have no book. And in no time they're saying, the Bako, they can learn it. So they also made the boys to understand that they have to learn the language. And to learn the language, they have to learn the conjugations, the French words, and so on. And that went on for about 10 years. I did that for 10 years. Now, when I was in Notre Dame, the Canadian father who was headmaster after I was there for 2 years decided that it was time for him to withdraw and put a Ghanaian to be headmaster of Notre Dame. And so they asked me to head the school. But the atmosphere in our Navrongo diocese was not conducive to me to be in charge. I felt that there was a lot of problems that if I became headmaster, so told the bishop that I was not ready to take over the administration of the school. I would still be a teacher. Since much money was spent to educate me, I will be a teacher, but I was not ready to be in charge. And so they couldn't get somebody. They got a brother from Canada who was a member of the Presentation Brothers. They are experts in education, and so he took over, and I was assisting him for over 10 years. Now, when I was in Notre Dame, Father Noah was in Tongo and he was alone. And so he came to the bishop, that was Bishop Akanlu, who succeeded Bishop Bertrand, the Canadian, and asked him if they would ask me if I could come to help them the weekends, since I was not headmaster. And so Bishop came to me and I said, in that case, I'll help him. Now, it was a year that petrol could not come by. There was no petrol. The year of Rawlins, while Rawlins and Kodeku and so on. And so it was very hard to get petrol. So I told the father that I'm not ready to come to Tongo, and then you send me to Sekoti or Yindure or any pass, because if I have no petrol. So he said no, the only best way for me would be he will let me concentrate in Congo. That was on the main road, and any time that I may be going back to Notre Dame and I have no petrol, I can take on the means back to Bolga, and from Bolga I can go to Navrongo. And so that is how then I got involved with Congo. And so when I came to Congo with my contacts in Canada and here and there, then anything that I wanted, my friends were supporting me. So if I write a letter to Canada, say I need a borehole, they'll pay the borehole. I will need a clinic, they'll give me a clinic. I'll need a church, they'll give me anything that I wanted, they were helping me. My cardinal was helping me, my multitude of friends were helping me. And so Congo then started to grow. And it grew to a certain level that I could no longer be teaching and running Congo. So I told the bishop, look, it is easy to get a French teacher. Or if you can't get a French teacher, then you need somebody to come and take over the projects. Because I can't do the two. I go to Navrongo and I'm talking about cement. The boys are talking about West Africa examination. So the two cannot go together. So they said it was easy to get a French teacher. And they got a French teacher. And they allowed me to then be free to work in Congo. And so when then I came to Congo, the name, what we're looking for the name, like all Christian stations, they have a name. And so when I came, I looked into the old books and I was told that the people of Congo chose Mary Immaculate. So the Canadian father, who was the best, said, I have to build a grotto. So we put up the grotto. Then we needed water, as I was telling you, I got the water. Then we needed a place to accommodate, and so on and so on and so on. So things were then going on like that. Now, while in Congo, there was trouble in Bolga. Bolga people had trouble with one of the priests. And they said they want him to leave. And Father John and myself, we felt that the people were right. So we didn't hide it. We told the bishop, the people are right. If the father is not correct, send him away. We're not begging them to bring a priest there. And so they decided that if in that case, I should go back to Bolga and be head in the parish, acting. And so then they sent him back to be acting parish priest of Bolga. And since I was still in charge of Congo, I could not leave Congo and go and be residing in Bolga. So there's a law in the Catholic books that the parish priest can live elsewhere when there's need and be taking care of the parish. And so I quoted that and I wrote to the bishop and said, I will be in charge of Bolga, but I will reside in Congo. And so I started to work in Bolga. I would get up 4 o'clock in the morning, have sports, run around, take a good shower, By 5 o'clock, I'm in Bolga. I did that for 3 years. In fact, one morning, I was in Congo, and I couldn't get to Bolga because I had problems with my car. So since I get up early, 5 o'clock, I took my bicycle and I rode to Bolga. And I was in time 6 o'clock, 6:30 for the mass. So I made it to understand that Bolga is my place. And the missionaries, the white men who came, they suffered for Bolga, and I must suffer for my people. And I didn't find that to be something extraordinary. I made me to understand that, look, you had a nice meal in your place, you ate plenty of meat, you had everything. And if you, early in the morning, people are driving cows from Congo to Bolga to sell on foot. And you have a car, what is the problem? No problem.
No problem.
So I made myself that, look, there's no problem. Psychologically, to make me not have pity on myself. There was no pity on that.
It's 50 minutes drive.
That's it.
So what was your experience with the people of Congo? Because you stated in your biography, your autobiography, that when you were asked to come here, you really didn't know much about the Congo people. But your grandfather had a wife from one of his wives.
My own father.
Your own father.
Yeah.
One of his wives comes from, actually she comes from my clan.
Dalga, yeah.
From my clan.
Yes.
Yeah. So that gave you the motivation to come over, or what was it that motivated to come over to Congo?
You know, if you're a priest, wherever you are, if you love the people, I'm insisting, if you love the people, they will love you. There's no barrier anywhere. You love the people. You make them see, you make them feel that you love them, they will love you. And that is what I tried. I didn't try to make tricks. There were no tricks. Love the Nabdan people. Eat it as savo, eat it as zero, breathe the air, suffer with them, try to help them, make them have water to drink, give them good health, they will help you. And that is the trick. There's no trick. This trick is everywhere. Love the people as they are. I didn't come here to be looking for educated people or trained teachers, because I'm a graduate. Who cares about you, a graduate? They want water. If I try to give them water. They want a clinic. Every morning, every night, they will come to this time. Snake bite. I had to be angry and yet drive them to Bolga. So I had my friends in Canada say, help me to build a clinic. They gave me the money, we put a clinic. Any man who was sick, he will go there. They have a clinic. They need a Christian mothers, an association of women, people to farm. I try to give them education. I try to build schools or to pay fees for students. So I think that works anywhere, everywhere. Once you love the people, and the people know and believe that you love them, they'll love you. You know, the people of Lorry gave me the secret grove for the brothers to stay in there. It would not have been easy if they didn't love me. They would never have allowed me. But I respected them. The Lorry people, the python is the totem. And so I never made a ridicule with that, laughing at them. I told my people, if the python likes guinea fowls. So I said, okay, if I buy guinea fowls and he comes, I'll know how to put my guinea fowls without disturbing. And if I kill the python, I shouldn't be mocking, laughing at them. No. I respect them as they respect me with my Catholic religion. If they come to the church, they take off your hat, he will take off his hat. If I have to go there and say, it is forbidden for us to do this, do that, I'll respect them. Happy living in harmony is to respect each one's belief, his way of acting. We must respect that.
Wow, that's so amazing. That's so amazing. So you've stayed in Congo for how many years now?
Oh, to be about almost 20 something.
20 something
Yeah.
years.
But then when I went to Bulga as acting parish priest, then one day one of the bishops, our bishop who took over from Bishop Akanlu, decided that there was a possibility of me being asked to go to Accra to look after the finances of the Ghanaian bishops. And so I told the bishop, give me time to pray and reflect. So then I went to Father John, the first Frafra priest, and we prayed together. And then after 1 week, I told the bishop, okay, I will be ready to leave Bulga and go to Accra. And so then that was another challenge that I faced.
So were you able to, how did you go over there?
So it was not easy for me to go to Accra. I had just started Bulga. I was full of enthusiasm to make Bulga nice, to make it the way I want, and to the style that I want. Now I'm taking the middle to go to Accra. I didn't know any man in Accra. I was more at ease in Burkina Faso. I was going to Ouagadougou because of the French and friends in Burkina more than Accra. I was not never. Anytime I wanted to go to Canada, I would go to Ouagadougou. Air France was there, taking the plane from Ouagadougou to Paris, Montreal. So I had no dealings with Accra. But then I had to start from Accra. So Accra, this work that they wanted me to do is the bishops of Ghana, every year they make projects and propose them to Rome, that they want Rome to help. And the money that Rome gathers is gathered in Ghana, Burkina, America, Europe, all over the world. They put the money into a common basket. And then this money is then distributed to help the Catholic world. And so the bishops of my own Bishop Navrongo, Tamale, Accra, Suyani, all the dioceses, then they will make their plans for seminaries, the training of priests, then the building of churches, then the building of schools. So then they will make the projects and give me a copy. And then when I go to Rome, I'm representing Ghana. We were about 150 representatives of the whole world. And so at the meeting, there is a shaman on Ghana. And they'll say, Bishop Swanko wants this. What do you say? Should we give him the money or not? And so on and so on. Or should we help him or not? So I was doing that for 10 years. Seeing that the money. So if Bishop didn't present his project properly, I would say negative, don't give him.
Wow.
Wow. So I was like some would consider him like a spy. The money that they receive from Rome, they must be accountable. And there was no question of you're a bishop, you're not a bishop. If you have not spent the money properly, I'll tell the Rome that this bishop didn't spend the money properly. We're human beings. And there were some who were, you couldn't make living. No. So I did that for 10 years.
Wow. Well, having talked of Rome, I saw in your autobiography when you knelt before Pope John Paul for a prayer. Tell me your encounter with Pope John Paul or any other Pope.
No, anytime, we used to have them meetings in Rome every year in May. Then our association, Africa with the language barrier, since I was good in French and I was in English, so the English speaking group had their team and the French group had their team. And so the English speaking group, meaning Nigeria, Tanzania, Kenya, Gambia and Uganda, they selected me to be their chairman.
Okay.
So that was for every 3 years. So when I went there, they elected me as a chairman for the English speaking directors. And then, so this permitted me again to go back to Rome in November. So I had 2 chances to go to Rome every year. Now, Rome also made me member of the congregation of the church. So that was another 5 years. So I could go to Rome almost. So I was going to Rome maybe 3 times.
Wow.
So anytime we would go to Rome, our offices will organize a reception. We have nothing to say. We only go there and say we are meeting the Pope at this time. And so we go to the hall where the Pope receives us, and then we go one by one as if we are going to communion. And then the Pope is seated on his chair. And then you go there, and your name is written, Roger Aboteyuure, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Go.
Wow.
And then the next one follows. So I was doing that for 10 years. So I didn't, at the end, whether to see the Pope or don't see the Pope, I didn't care damn about it. I had enough.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So when we were there, sometimes we'll come down and people are waiting there trying to make photos and say, can you believe that this stupid man was with the Pope? So that's it.
All right. So let's talk of your achievements. You've really made Nabdam what it is today. You've really played a pivotal role in developing Nabrok. Outside one thing, electricity. I would have gotten electricity in my house had it not been because of you. So let's start with that. How did it all? What made you decide to initiate developmental projects in Nabrok?
The priesthood is not talking about it. God is God. What I'm dying for. Hallelujah. And what. The priesthood is the human being totally has to be educated. Teach him how to feed himself, to be in good health, and then you teach him the morale. So I'm not coming here to take the Bible and be quoting that. They're not interested in that. If somebody is sick, he wants to go get treated. So if I go down and tell, oh Jesus, you go to heaven, she'll get away. So you begin, the human being is a body. I see his body, his physique, and I must enter that. Start to take care of the physique, and then I can go inside. And so the church is that the totality of the human being. He's made of body and soul. Look after his body, look after his soul. You can't separate them. So if I come here and the people have no water to drink and I'm talking about Jesus Christ, that's what he did. When they needed wine, he gave them wine. When he needed to feed them, he was feeding them. I'm not inventing that. Jesus himself did that. Anytime somebody was sick, he was caring for them. So if I'm coming here, the people have no clinic, as I was telling you, they will come and say in the night, a woman in labor, would have no place to go. I have to take them to the hospital. Somebody's snake has bitten somebody, he has no treatment. We start with black stone that I got to give to the people. Finally I said, it's not a solution. The solution is to build a clinic. And so we started with a small clinic and was treating malaria, and as time went on and on, then we started to build. My friends from Canada were supporting me to put up a clinic. We put up a clinic, we need a nurse. And slowly, we worked on that. We have a nurse. Now the clinic is functioning. As for water, you cannot have a clinic without water.
Exactly.
It is not possible. And so we started to have boreholes here and there. Canada, they are very sensitive to water because Canada is plenty of lakes and everything. They can't understand how we have no water. So I'll tell I want water. One man will say, I'll tell you to drill a borehole. Small children in Canada and in America, they were washing people's cars to get money for me to drill a borehole. You know. So water became something that I had to take care of. And I tried to spread it in whether it is in Congo or Sumburungo. We drill boreholes for Sumburungo and Sierco, Bolga, Sierco. It was all over the place, and that I was doing. I built a Dekio dam because we needed they needed water for their cows. We put them the dam there, Dekio, from the water environment. So we need trees. I love green. I decided that we have to plant trees, tree plantation, and so we started to make holes, dig holes, collect manure, plant the trees. As you can see,
it's very beautiful.
Then education, what can you do without education? You can never do anything. You can't teach the people, as they said, if you want to help the people, teach them to fish, by themselves and not give them the fish to eat. So of course, we need education, primary school and then secondary school, and those who can go to university, I help them if I can, get some books for them. I used to go to Canada and bring scientific calculators. In those days, it was not like today where you have a computer and everything. But I used to I'll go to the companies that I know in Canada, they'll give me the scientific calculators so that they can calculate those who are doing engineering and so on and so on. So the list goes on and on and on. And of course, I'm looking for successors, people who will take over from me as priests also, or as sisters, or as brothers. And so I'm not neglecting that. I also try that I will do my best to get some boys who will also dedicate their lives to serve the people, either as priests or religious or as sisters. Because wherever we want to help the woman, you need a woman's leader. And so the different movements that in the church that exist, we try to promote them. And as I say, the Father cannot do it alone. He's doing it with people. So anything that I wanted, the African people, they will support. If I tell them that I want you to do this, they will support. It is two sides. You help those who want to help themselves.
Are you quite aware of children within this area who've taken after you or taken up that priesthood and have decided to go to become reverend fathers or sisters or brothers? Are you aware of anything like that?
Yes, I'm aware.
Okay.
But you know, you have to catch them young.
Yes.
You see, in Africa, when a boy comes to about 15, he has already made up his mind either to marry or not to marry. And so the primary school level is the level that we can catch those boys who would like to dedicate themselves. It is not like any tree. If you want a tree to be straight, you must catch it young and put it straight.
Exactly.
So you have to provoke, like the fathers entice me. You know, I have to take means. If I'm going to Bolga and I have space in my car, I should say, boys, those who are around, let's go to Bolga. And if you take them to Bolga, maybe I'll buy them some rice. They'll say, oh, then instead of going to elsewhere, they will now be coming to my house. And I'll tell them, wash my car for me. They're so happy to wash the car. Or wash my clothes for me. They're happy to do that. And slowly, I'm telling them, you know, we need people to come and help. You need some people to take over. I'm an old man, why can't you also? Then he will also say, I think I can also follow his example. In other words, talent hunting.
Exactly.
You have to, if you want to be a lawyer, and you are a lawyer, and you want a lawyer, you have to look for the talents, those who can do it. You know, we are not going to lower the priesthood because we need priests, no, or the brotherhood or the sister. We need a top. People who can go there, who can be made intellectually, empower them so that they can empower the youth. That is the point. But I always coming down that we are priests. We are not politicians. We are not after a credit. We are not after a decoration.
No.
We are not after applauses, putting on the list of things. I can't. Those fathers who helped me, I can't even remember them.
Wow.
But I know that. And those that I want, my joy will be, I'll get some boys who are excellent doctors, excellent teachers, excellent lawyers, excellent farmers, excellent nurses, excellent artists, all around. Anything that I will make them capable. I'm not the one calling them. The Lord is calling them. The Lord is taking care of them. My duty is to make them accomplish what the Lord has for them and not what I want. I don't own them. But I try to make them fulfill their call. God has put them into this world with an aim, with a purpose.
Destiny.
So they may not find it, but my duty is to make it possible that what the Lord wants them to do, He will make it clear to them.
Wow, that's so awesome. Do you mind us talking about the big cathedral that is under construction in Bolga?
When I was acting parish priest, there was an ordination, and that was in August, and a big rain came, and the people were running here and there for shelter, and I was very angry. So I said, how can my people be roaming around, can't get shelter? But before, we never knew that the bishop would be coming to Bolga, and so when they opened they built the church, they didn't take note of that. They thought they were just building a church, but they were not thinking that ordinations and big ceremonies will take place in Bolga. So we tried to see whether we could extend it, make it enlarging. There was no possibility. So then when that big rain came, you know, the priest is also by emotion.
Okay.
So I saw the people and I was very touched. I said, I have to do something for my people.
So it was a wake-up call, right there and there.
Exactly. So then I said, okay, I'll build them a church. So I just told the people, the money that we are going to get from this church collection, we're going to use it to build a cathedral.
Wow.
So then I tried to get architects. There was a brother in Mwa who was an architect. I made the plans. I wanted to follow Congo style. Then the father said, no, there is one boy from your area. He's called this man, George Binia. He was an architect. So he said he's a very clever boy, and if you contact him, he can help you. So then when I was then in Accra, doing my work, then I contacted George Binia, and then I told him I wanted a big church, a round church that can accommodate plenty of people. So with his German friend, we went a few times, and then he produced the plan, and that is where we are going. Now, you must remember that no one has cash to be able to say, my money is ready.
Exactly.
You use what the Lord has given you, and you cry to him. God is not bankrupt.
I like that. God is not bankrupt.
God is not bankrupt. So why do you make your bankruptcy to mean that God has no money?
I like that. Yes.
If you give your mind, and then if they give you the money, use it for that. If they give me the money to build a church and I'm building a house at my house for my people, my family, then God will say, you're not reliable.
Exactly. Exactly.
You must give. The father has no right to die and leave money. But a father is a perpetual beggar. Somebody who is begging for the people. You can never say, I've finished. You can never. Even if you get billion, I will always find people. Poor people. Jesus Christ himself said that you will always have the poor. And we are always begging. We have to beg for people. I'm not begging for myself. All that I need is food to eat and beer to drink, if I like beer or Coke or whatever. But I have no right to be accumulating money and using it wrongly, buying cars. All my cars have been given to me. There's no car that my boss given to me by my card now. My Benz given to me by my family people. No one, I have never used my pacework to buy a car. So we should be an example.
Exactly.
The priest should be an example that you are called to be a poor man, and your party headmaster is Jesus Christ. You must sing his party, and you must work with him and trust him. If you are not in line with Jesus, he says that very well. The scripture then comes in that I'm the vine, you are the branches.
Wow.
If you link yourself with me and you pray with me, it is all right. Now, if I see the cathedral, I shouldn't think I'm a big man.
No.
I'm not the owner of the cathedral. I'm only a secretary. God has used me to do the work. So I can't take the cathedral as if man cathedral. It is my cathedral. It is not my cathedral.
Wow.
Otherwise, God will say, okay, can you imagine you are sending your secretary and the secretary will say, he has done it. How would you feel?
No.
So, you must remain spiritual, very close to your master.
Yes.
And don't think that you're somebody. You're nobody. There are wonderful people who have not built cathedrals, and they are great. Women are praying. Sometimes I go there and say that, and the people say, oh, God help our church to finish. He's given me plenty.
Wow.
So I can't compare myself to, oh, I'm a big man. Faroja is barely a cathedral. Faroja is only a secretary. And I must remember that everybody is important in the cathedral project. Some are praying, some are offering the sacrifices, and so on and so on.
Wow, wow. So apart from that church, do you have any other projects that you're working on, or that is what you're working on right now?
That is one thing at a time.
One thing at a time.
One thing at a time. So you know, the cathedral, there is still a lot to be done.
Still a lot to be done.
A lot to be done.
So let's come to your title, Monsignor. I keep having problems in pronouncing it. How did it all happen, and why was it conferred onto you?
You know, when I was in charge of the finances of the bishop, then they said, normally we have people who are also as powerful as the bishops. We have no diocese, an area to govern as bishop. So Rome has all the diplomatic ways, and so the Roman people, in their style, invented a title to give to priests who have done something a bit outstanding. And so that's what. Wow. Now, when I was following my secretary, my cardinal, you know, when we are the Monsignor, we are wearing almost all that the bishop wears. So I can have the red thing that the fathers, and I can have you are almost like a bishop. Now, we are a bit revolutionary. I'm a bit revolutionary. I'm against those things. I'm against that. Everybody is important. You don't need to come and tell me that I'm in this. What does it add to me? Nothing. It adds nothing. So I'm not interested to wear them. I have them all, but I don't wear them. I don't wear them. I can't say anything. But I kept the title because there was confusion. I didn't even want to be called Monsignor Roger. But because if I don't put it, some will write Monsignor, some will write Father Roger, they'll say there will be a confusion. Some will think that we are two. So I said, okay, I'll keep my title as Monsignor. But
what would your message be out to people? Just people out there, what would your message be to them?
My message is, try to help your people. Don't be selfish. Wherever you are able to make life better. You don't need to go to, if you are from Congo, you don't need to go to Zoko to be building there. Help the Congo people. Help the Congo people in your capacity. No one is so poor that you can't help. You are able to help. Whether it is to go and convince an old man to allow his daughter to go to school, that is your contribution. Because he doesn't know. But if you are just in, I am happy, and yourself alone, that doesn't work. I want the other thing must be universal. Love your people. Give them the little that you have. Share with them what you have. And I was just telling you about these children who opened a gate for me to go out and to come in at Christmas. Can you imagine? Those boys will collect money, a CD here, peswa here, and buy me a goat. A man who can buy goats. But those children, they want to show me their appreciation. Because they know that I love them. So they want to do something. So you too, wherever you are, don't forget about home. Don't forget about your people. Don't forget about the Ghanaian people. Charity begins at home. Look after your people. Help your children, your brother. You are not a priest, so you have to look after your wife and your children. Give them good education. I'm a priest, I'm for everybody. But you are not, your first duty is your wife and your children and your family. So give a high education to your children. They too will one day give back. It is human nature, you know. You can't just be thinking of yourself alone, you give back. So try to give back whatever God has given to your people.
Wow. Well, you are a role model to us, the youth, and to millions of youth across the globe. What would your message be to the youth out there?
My message is, learn properly, study well. If you are in school, learn properly. Stop drinking by heart. Wait till you have white hair. And then you can start to enjoy beer and whatever. But don't put that into your head that you are starting drinking. There were some wonderful boys that I knew who all died through drinking by heart. And I don't even talk about smoking. I don't know. But you cannot, the two can go together. You can't drink, smoke, and chasing by heart, and they can't go together. So the youth today, look after yourself. Take care of yourself. Be a model. If others can do it, I can do it. Don't say that, oh, they are all doing it. They are not all doing it. They are not all doing it. Take care of your talents. God has given you talents, beautiful talents. The talents are, God gives every, there is no one who is useless without talents. Everybody has talents, good qualities that he has to grow. So make your talents grow. Don't starve in it. Because if you have no good ground, the talents can grow. So I would say that concentrate seriously to wherever you are. If you are working, work 100%. If you are studying, study 100%. And then all things will flow back.
Well, you are undoubtedly one of the prominent people in Northern Ghana, and Upper East for that matter. Do you have any specific message out there to people of Upper East or Northern Ghana?
We must avoid tribalistic feelings.
Okay. Tribalism.
Tribalism. He is not from my tribe. I never worked in Bolga except the last 3 years when they had a trouble that they sent me to Bolga. But I still love Bolga people, but I never worked there. And you don't need to work there. Wherever you are, if you do good, God will feed back. God is the one going back there. So that is a point. Try to help everybody. Whenever there is like they want to put a school, I want to have it in my village, I want to have it in my town, I want to look at the airport. What happened? We were fighting uselessly, fighting for, I want the airport to be, what is the airport? No airport. Can you imagine? Government will say, oh, I don't know where to put it. That was all tribalism. Wherever objectivity is, where the things should be, you should make an abstraction of wherever it is. We want the good of the people. So that is one point. And if we understand that we must help our people. You can still love your people, but don't make them to be the only people.
Okay. Okay. Well, you've been in Congo for, in your own words, over 20 years, 30 years. So any message out there to the people of Congo? And will Congo ever become a parish? Yeah, right now it's a parish. What is the step after parishhood?
Well, there's no other step. Other step will be to open more. Open more parish. What I can say to the Nabdam people, don't think that outsiders will come and build Nabdam for you.
Okay.
No outsider, however good I may be, however powerful I may be, I'm not a Nabdam man to build a Nabdam area. Nabdam people are the people to come and build the area. The place belongs to you. We have only come outside to help. But don't the last and say, Faroja and Co will do it. They'll bring somebody to the, it never works there. It never works. Your people, die for the people. Nabdam people, we're going to die for the Nabdam people. We're going to work for the Nabdam people. Everything will be nabbed. The songs will be nabbed. The dancing will be nabbed. They said it, everything will be nabbed. Then we'll support you. But if you're outside and you are saying, oh, they will do it, who is they will do it? Who will do it when you don't want to do it? So my challenge in Nabdam is love your people. Work for your people. Tell yourself that I and Nabdam is the one to build the Nabdam area, and not outside. Outsiders are only coming to help you, but they can never replace you. However, I may love the Nabdam people, I will never, never, never be a Nabdam. I'm not. God has not made me. But God did this. I shouldn't love it. I shouldn't help them. But you put it. I'm only coming to help. Outsiders, whoever it is, whether it is from Navrongo, from Bolga, from Tongo or Zoko, coming to the Nabra, he's only coming to help you and not to take over. So don't rely on outsiders. Rely on yourself. Self-reliance everywhere.
Wow.
So that is my challenge to the Nabda people.
Do you have any last words to say? Perhaps you are fluent in both Nabt and Gordon. Do you have any last words to say?
Mina ka gana tarana. Na yini lo mina. Bas tenga ozuna. Anim bo na tone. Ta wana ton gelemna. Bara point to bora taba gilma. To songora taba. To ni esa taba. Mina ka mi gana tarana. To sente te tenga bala. Yel kana wa wana. Yin wa wana. Yin la anu ba po makasela tine sala. Zu ton boma. Ni ton boma. Tobre toon bome, noor toon bome, naad toon bome, nu toon ma nere wotala batoon, ama bari le zoyin. Jamde bala men no, te mam mine bala, te tale buru, aimna de la ona, aimna de la, ge to wa ko le zoyin.
You founded Bonoboto, isn't it?
Yes.
Tell me about Bonoboto.
You know, when I was a young priest,
yes,
and Father Lebel went to Bongo, Father Lebel built Teacher Training College Bosco, and then he built Notre Dame, and then finally he went to Bongo, and in Bongo he was helping his boys to go to secondary school, buying books for them. So he told them, what are you doing to help your people?
Wow.
So I said I didn't even know. So then that time I was in charge of the Catholic schools. So I then said, okay, if that is the case, I'll get a list of the students. So it was Ajene was headmaster in Boku Secondary. Boku Sec. And so he then organized the students, the Bulgar students who were there, and then we went to Tamale to get more and so on. So then we started, and the aim was to help them, to buy books for them. If they are admitted at the university, they should immediately inform them, and then so then that was the beginning of the whole thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've been talking to Monsignor Roger Aboteyuure. He is one of the prominent personalities, not only in Africa, but globally. My name is Big Vision, and it's an honor and a privilege talking to this man. Catch you some other time with my next personality. Take care. Bye-bye. I love you.